The Bears sport the NFC's third best record and refuse to apologize for the way they've won or who they've beaten. We'll check in at Hallis Hall with Cassie Carlson, the Athletics' Dan Weeder, and CHGO's Adam Hogue stops by. I'll ask Adam, who's his Bears MVP through 10 games? Cassie and Dan tell us which Bear is healthy and back at practice. Plus, who wants to see Aaron Rodgers play Sunday? I do. Rodgers tells us if he wants to play and if he's still the Bears villain in this town. Yes, he is. I'll talk with Bears linebacker TJ Edwards to find out when he's coming back. And can Pope Leo XIV deliver the White Sox a new home? It's all now on Chicago Sports Tonight.
From Fox 32 Chicago Sports, this is Chicago Sports Tonight.
All right, lots of news coming out of Hallis Hall today, so let's get there. Bring in our two Bears experts, Cassie Carlson and the Athletics' Dan Weeder. Good to see you both. First, Bears open the 21-day practice window for Kyler Gordon, the return from IR. This is great news, right, Cassie?
Yeah, and it's not just Kyler Gordon who is going to be returning soon. It's also Jalen Johnson and hopefully TJ Edwards. So you're getting really your best defensive players back on the field for the last half of the season and the part of the season where the schedule gets really tough. So seeing Kyler Gordon alongside Jalen Johnson back on the practice field today, a huge boost for this team as you just look into who they're going to be going up against. Yeah. And although the Steelers, if you're looking ahead to this week, their offense isn't really anything that you're too scared of as you go through Packers, Eagles, 49ers, the rest of the season and facing the Lions again at the end, you definitely need to have your best players on the field.
I think it's going to be very interesting to see how the Bears navigate this. You obviously have to have some caution with both these players who have been injured multiple times since training camp began, and now you have this game Sunday against the Steelers followed with a quick turnaround to go play the Eagles on Black Friday. And so I think there is obviously some sports science, some medical advice that goes into this, and it's going to be really interesting to see the path they go to getting these guys game ready, because I think they've got a long way to go to get themselves back in shape to play a full game.
Guys, I got together with TJ Edwards last night at the Boys and Girls Club. We'll play that interview coming up after our conversation later in the show. Was there any indication given as to when Edwards might come back?
No, but Ben Johnson, when talked about when he was initially out with both the hand that he had surgery on and the hamstring, that they did not expect it to be a long stint, and he was not a candidate for IR, and that was, 2 weeks ago? Yeah. So he's missed 2 games, and I would think he's probably working back into the mix, hopefully getting back on the practice field soon. And mind you, it wasn't the hand he said that was going to keep him back. They can put a club on that, and he can go out there and play. It's the hamstring, which he dealt with earlier in the season as well, that's similar to Dan's point about wanting to be careful with both Jalen and Kyler, that those soft tissue injuries, especially when they become reoccurring, you don't want to stretch that or have a player return too quickly from that.
If we presume that all these guys are going to be 100% at some point, it's got to be incredibly encouraging to this football team to know that their defense can get whole again for the stretch run for a bunch of meaningful games that are going to have a lot at stake. And so we'll see where this all heads.
Was Ben asked today, Ben Johnson asked, hey, when Kyler Gordon comes back, what happens with C.J. Gardner-Johnson?
Yeah, and I think it's a great question. He basically said C.J. Gardner-Johnson has proven to be a playmaker, and as we've seen that over his first 3 games here, they need to find a way to keep him on the field. And I think this goes back to a mindset that Dennis Allen has about his secondary as a whole that he started talking about really when he started coming in, is that he likes the versatility of a lot of these pieces. And we know C.J. Gardner-Johnson plays nickel. He also plays safety. So maybe they find a way of keeping him on the field in that way too. And we know that Kyler Gordon can also play outside corner. And so it's a delicate balance, because Kyler Gordon, I mean, he's dealt with a handful of injuries. Can you work them in on the field together? Is that a rotation where they go in, or does Kyler Gordon slide to outside corner and they have more of a rotation there? I think this is a difficult question to figure out exactly how they're going to do it, but they need to find a way. I think that's what Ben Johnson admitted. They need to find a way to make sure he's on the field.
The flexibility is valuable. It allows Dennis Allen to play chess week in and week out and figure out what matchups present the best opportunity for their football team to win a game. And so it's going to be fascinating to see what that depth means to them when all these guys are back.
Do you want to see Aaron Rodgers Sunday at Soldier Field with a fractured left wrist against the Bears, or would you rather see Mason Rudolph? I'll pose the question to you guys and then tell me, was Ben Johnson asked today?
I personally would like to see Aaron Rodgers play. I mean, if you're a competitor, I think you want to go up against the best. That's what we're going to hear from the players. But I just think also just being and growing up a Bears fan, watching Aaron Rodgers come into Soldier Field so many times and seeing how he would just silence Bears fans and own the city, own the Bears. 24-5 against the Bears in his career. I would love to see him come in here, and I would love to see the Bears get after him. And I think getting to know Ben Johnson and his competitive nature, like I think I know he wants to see that too, and I feel like they would have a big game plan to make sure that they would make sure Aaron Rodgers gets on the ground.
Ben wants to take that swing for sure, and I would love to see that as well. I'm a huge fan of football theater. This is the best theater you could have with Aaron Rodgers potentially playing his last game against the Bears. There's a lot of years where we would have sat here and said, the Bears don't want any part of Aaron Rodgers. Keep him as far away from Chicago as possible. But with the Bears playing the way they are and Rodgers where he is at his career, I think it's a great chance to take one last crack at taking out the guy who's been such a headache to you for so many years.
Here's what Ben Johnson had to say about it.
I've got a lot of respect for Aaron Rodgers. He's done this at a high level for an incredible amount of time, and if he's ready to go this week, would love nothing more to compete against him.
Now, another interesting question that Ben Johnson was asked is, because Caleb Williams has been on record in the past saying that he really admires Aaron Rodgers' game, he asked if there's any similarities he sees between Caleb Williams and Aaron Rodgers, and essentially he was like, yeah, no, not really at this point in his career, at least. But Aaron Rodgers definitely gets the ball out quicker. Caleb Williams, holds on to the ball the longest in the NFL. So I don't think he wanted to make any of those comparisons.
For those who were fishing for compliments in those comparisons, Ben threw the pole back on the dock and said, no thanks. He's exactly what you said, Cassie. Like, Aaron spits it out quickly. Aaron has his accuracy. These are things that Caleb needs to get a lot better at to draw any sort of parallels between Rodgers and Caleb. And so for right now, I think the head coach's words were very telling.
All right, great work as always, Dan. We will read you and listen to you on The Score all week long. Thanks for taking the time. Cassie, I'll see you tomorrow. Coming up, we go back to Hallis Hall, catch up with longtime Bears beat writer Adam Hogue from CHGO as we continue here on CST Daily. Alice, welcome back to CST here on Fox. Hey, if the playoffs were to start this weekend, Bears would be the NFC's number 3 seed. They would host the Packers at Soldier Field in the wild card round. But lots of jockeying in the playoff standings, so things will change between now and the start of the postseason. Till then, I want all those Bears fans out there to enjoy. Yeah, the Bears with the number 3 seed as we speak. Let's bring in Adam Hogue from CHGO. Does a great job of covering the Bears. He's at Hallis Hall after some of the Bears and Ben Johnson have spoken to the media. Hey, always nice to have you on. I just want to know, are you keeping guys like Lance Briggs, Jerry Azuma, and Corey Wooten in line?
We're trying, Lou. It's just good. I think it's good for all of us, including those guys, former players, to be talking about a team that's back in the thick of things against teams like the Pittsburgh Steelers this week, the Philadelphia Eagles next week, as we're deep into November, going into December with meaningful football games again. It's just, I think it's good for all of us.
Hey, I've been watching you and Wooten on CHGO. Corey used to be here helping us out with our post-game shows. Man, I love his energy. The guy is such a fan, and I know Jerry and Lance are as well. You guys do a great job of covering the Bears at CHGO. I'm not even mentioning Mark's name. I'm sorry, I'm just not. I just want I want to know, Adam, did you have the Bears leading the NFC North sitting in the 3 seed entering Week 12?
Well, I don't know how it all worked out, if they'd be in first place or not. I will say, Lou, believe it or not, I had this team starting 8-3. So they're on track. Nice. If they win this game this week, I did have them starting 8-3. Now, the bad news is I also had them finishing 2-4 in their last 6. Finishing with 10 wins still. The schedule gets tougher here, and I do think expectations change as the season goes along. Now you see what this Bears team is. I mean, all of these games the rest of the way are going to be tough, and I'm including the Browns in that too because they have a guy named Myles Garrett who can wreck a game just like Max Crosby tried to do against the Bears earlier this season.
I want to talk about Caleb Williams. I know he talked to the media today. This guy missed some guys downfield again Sunday at Minnesota. Inaccuracy, again, an issue. It's his first year in this offense, and I've resigned myself to believe that we are going to get this type of play from Caleb Williams the rest of the season. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think first of all, even if you look at the top quarterbacks in the league, they're going to have some missed throws, especially downfield. I think now, ideally though, when you're coaching this up and you're scheming it up, you'd like to have at least one of those 2 third downs, and especially the second one where DJ Moore came open, and I didn't think the footwork was necessarily perfect. He's in shotgun, still dropping back 7 snaps, and something looked off there when he let go of that football. Those types of moments are going to happen really for any quarterback, but especially a young quarterback who, yes, is still trying to figure out the ins and outs of this offense.
Man, the guy is avoiding sacks, turnovers, keeping this team in position to win each and every week. All right, I had former Bears snapper, a guy that you know well, Pat Manley, on the show Monday. Mm-hmm. He and I agreed on the Bears MVP up till this point. Take a stab at who you think we picked, and who would you pick?
Was it Joe Thuney?
You're close, man. Very good. We actually picked the entire offensive line. Nice work.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, it is something, going back to what we were just talking about a few minutes ago, just about it being refreshing that the Bears are back in playing meaningful games in November. It's the style of which they're playing, too. Is it perfect on offense? No. I mean, I think there's a lot of different areas you can still clean up, especially when it comes to catching the football. But up front, just look at the way the game ended in Minnesota, right? It's third down. You know they got to pick up more yards to make it a more comfortable field goal. I think most people are probably thinking they're going to throw it there. Not Ben Johnson. He leans on his offensive line to run a bread and butter run play, and they pick up enough yards to make it a manageable field goal for Cairo Santos. That's having trust in those old linemen up front.
All right, I'm going to put you on the spot. Big talk on Sports Talk today, yesterday. Do you want Aaron Rodgers to play in this game Sunday, or would you rather see Mason Rudolph out there giving the Bears a better chance to win number 8?
So I guess I'll give you the more nostalgic answer. Yes, I would like to see Aaron Rodgers out there again. I guess it's just part of the amount of games that I've covered between him facing the Bears, all those Bears and Packers games. Most of them obviously went the Packers' way. I'm all about storylines too, so I think it's a more entertaining game that way. And honestly, I don't, maybe I'll eat these words. I don't know that it changes the dynamic of the game too much. He's already playing a different style than he had been certainly in the prime of his career. He does not like to get hit at all. That's why he's getting rid of the football so quickly. And now you think about the fact that he could have a wrist that could potentially get hurt worse if he takes a hit the wrong way. I think he's going to be super careful if he's playing on Sunday. And maybe that works to the Bears' advantage a little bit in kind of knowing how he's going to play. Obviously, it's a tough task. It's a tougher task than if you're facing Mason Rudolph. But Mason Rudolph's played a lot of football in this league, too, as the backup. So they're certainly going to be a team that's prepared and not shocked if their starter can't go, because they know Mason Rudolph really well.
All right, Adam, before I let you go, I need to ask you this question because I'm asking all my guests on the show. Where, in Adam Hogue's opinion, are the Bears on the playoff meter? 0 to 100%. Where are you?
I'll say let's go like 65% at this point, and we'll see what it looks like. I'd just like to see, I think we'd all like to see a little bit more of a convincing win. They've been up in some of these games and then let the other team back in. Let's see if they can start putting some of these teams away in the third and early fourth quarter, and then that way it doesn't have to come down to the final 2 minutes like it has 5 times this season. Danny
Parkins, Pat Manley, and now Adam Hogue, all with the Bears at 65% chance to get in. Attaboy, I love it. I'm with you, man.
All of us?
All of you guys, exactly at 65%. Hey, Adam, thank you for the back and forth. I know you're a busy guy out there at Hallis Hall. Appreciate the time, and we'll be following you on CHGO, all right?
Thanks, Lou. Always appreciate it.
Always a pleasure. Adam Hogue does a terrific job, man. This guy's been covering the Bears for the last decade plus. Radio, CHGO, TV, you name it, he's been there. All right. as we continue here on CST. When we come back, I'm going to talk with Bears linebacker TJ Edwards right after this on Chicago Sports Tonight.
Incentive for every opponent, but I have enjoyed many a Sunday and Monday and many Thursdays in that city. It's a great sports town, phenomenal sports fans, and great place to play.
Aaron, do you sort of thrive off of being the villain there a little bit? You sort of enjoy that aspect?
I'd rather not be. I mean, I'm not in Green Bay anymore. I feel like we can let bygones be bygones. Maybe I can, I guess.
Yeah, well, I can't. Aaron Rodgers will always be Bears fans' villain number one, that's for sure. But will he torture the Bears and their fans one last time this Sunday with the Steelers? Didn't practice today. Talked about this at the beginning of the show. Not practicing because of his left wrist injury, but plans on practicing tomorrow. It's more about safety than pain tolerance. Lou Canellis with you back here on Chicago Sports Tonight. Earlier, we told you that the Bears opened up the 21-day practice window for Kyler Gordon. That's great news. Bears' first injury report out for this week, and that's not good news. 6 Bears didn't practice, including linebackers Noah Sewell, Tremaine Edmonds, and TJ Edwards. Now, Boys and Girls Club of Chicago received an exciting surprise visit from Edwards last night. I was there. Special moment for the kids. TJ's such a special guy. Of course, he's in his hometown, grew up in Lake Villa, has some roots on the south side, helped hand out winter coats and hats to more than 100 club members last night. Afterwards, I caught up with the Bears linebacker. As a Chicago guy, to be here with the Boys and Girls Club in Bridgeport, what does it mean?
It's really cool. I think, Ted and his staff were able to just kind of reach out and ask me to be a part of it, and absolutely, it's cool to kind of hang out with the kids and see their joy, and this is what you come home for, is things like this, for sure.
I know you're a Lake Villa guy, but your wife was telling me that Dad has got some roots on the south side?
Yeah, my dad's from 95th, so my grandma.
Where about 95th?
95th and Troop.
95th and Cicero.
Yeah. So my grandma been there for a long time. She passed away, but my uncles and stuff still live around there, and so we were down here all the time. So yeah.
TJ, to be able to help build, a community for these kids and to give them confidence to achieve their dreams, what is that feeling like, especially around the holiday season?
Yeah, I think just to be here and kind of see the smiles on their faces and see them messing around and just kind of, talking some smack to you and things like that. It's what it's all about. And the holidays are kind of built around that, and anytime I can do something to give back in any way, absolutely count me in, for sure.
We know you've been sidelined for the past couple games here and kind of battling through some injuries and surgery, but what are you thinking of your 7-3 Bears right now? Yeah,
we look good. No, it's exciting. I think just kind of seeing how we're persevering through games, and obviously it's killing me not to be out there in that way, but it's been a lot of fun to watch, and I know that we're just getting better and better, and excited for what's to come, for sure.
Can you explain, we keep hearing about players believing because of what's happened with all these comebacks. Is that legit?
Yeah, I think, when you kind of do these things and you're watching it happen, it builds confidence. And I think we kind of proved that to ourselves early on. And Coach has done a great job of kind of shifting that mindset for us. And, and players make plays. Guys have shown up in a big-time way and been able to shift games that we need to. Yeah.
You've been around when things were tough last year, and now they are where they are. Can you give us an idea, a feeling of just how the energy has picked up at Hallis Hall?
Yeah, it's hard to kind of describe. I feel like being here a couple years, going through some tough losses, to kind of see that finally start to shift. It's all about kind of the culture that's being built, but also the work that's been put in. There's still a lot of guys around this team that have been here through a lot of this, and to see them kind of continue to lead, and I think this team just really is hungry for more too. I don't think we've played our complete brand of football yet. I think that's the most exciting part.
Coach says my team will be playing its best football in December. You agree?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the goal. That's what you play for. That's what you do all those long hours for. To be able to play in important games and show up in a big way.
It was funny to watch Jalen on Sunday. I don't know if you saw him. He made the road trip out there, and he was hugging a lot of us media guys. You're not supposed to like us media guys.
Yeah, right.
But
it just showed the passion, the energy that he's got now to be around, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, Jalen is a big part of this team and this leadership group in general, and he's been working his butt off. So, a guy who constantly brings that energy for you too. So yeah, I'm excited for him to continue to work and get better every day.
I don't know what I'm allowed to ask you, but can you tell me, are you going to be coming back pretty soon?
That's the hope, man. And again, I'm taking it day by day right now, just trying to be the best that I can be when I get back out there in that field. And the training staff's taking care of me, and yeah, we'll see, man.
Will you get out there quick? I mean, I think you're the glue of the defense. Seriously, do you feel like that too? Like you're that important to those guys on D?
I think football is the ultimate team game. That's why I love it so much, because it takes every single person out there to be doing their job in the best way that they can. And for me, I just want to contribute in any way. And right now, my job is kind of helping those guys out that are playing, and making sure they're kind of seeing what we're trying to get them to see, and if not, help them out in any way I can. So yeah, I think it's a great sport for that reason. And again, when I get back out there, I'll be excited to run around and run and hit for sure.
Yeah, I've talked about it numerous times here on Fox. That guy is the glue in the middle of that Bears defense, a leader, a winner, a tackling machine. Let's hope he gets back real soon. Special thanks to TJ and the Boys and Girls Club for allowing us to be part of such a festive evening. White Sox, they're hoping their biggest fan, Pope Leo XIV, can help answer their prayers for a new home. New co-owner Justin Ishbia, there he is, met Pope Leo XIV outside St. Peter's Basilica at the Vatican. Ishbia shared his vision for a new stadium one day and invited the Pope to throw out the first pitch. Good move. Ishbia told Crane Chicago Business, "There's nothing finalized or planned at this point exactly, but our lease is up in 2029. I'm 48. In my lifetime, we will build a stadium, whether it's next year or sometime in the future. I'm going to build a stadium at some point, and when we do, I want him, Pope Leo XIV, to throw out the first pitch." I want to bring in Paris Schutz, who hosts the Chicago Report. Will be on at the conclusion of this show. Go to my Instagram page, Paris. Back on June 6th, I posted a video stating that Ishbia and the White Sox would get a new home at the 78 on Clark and Roosevelt. What are you hearing?
Guess what, Lou? You're a very prescient man, because that is indeed where the White Sox and Ishbia still want to go. I have multiple sources telling me that 78 parcel of land off of Roosevelt, where the Chicago Fire have already announced plans to build a stadium, those plans are still in motion. In fact, the White Sox have been in talks with Related Midwest, the landowner, the real estate company that owns that land, and the Fire have been open to having the Sox build a stadium next to their stadium, although the alderperson there, Pat Dow, has been opposed to having two stadiums on that site. The issue is Mansueto will build his stadium without taxpayer funds. We know that Reinsdorf has tried to get help from Springfield. That help is not going to come. There's no chance for it. The Bears have learned that the hard way. So Ishbia, with his deep pockets, is going to have to fund it himself. But we are told that the White Sox still want that piece of land.
And it could happen sooner than later.
And it could happen
He's
sooner than later.
48 years old, and their lease at guaranteed rate runs out at the end of the 2029 season.
There might actually be movement on this in the coming months, I'm told, in terms of rezoning that property, in terms of getting the momentum going. But again, the White Sox do want help from Springfield. There might be some Sox fans in the General Assembly that might be willing to help them. The question is, would they get Governor Pritzker? Would they get the legislative leaders to sign on to the hotel tax being extended to help fund that? Remember, that's what funds the bonds that funded Soldier Field and the Wright Field. That's going to be a tall order.
I would love to see it. Paris, the Chicago Report.
You might
coming
see it.
Up next.
Stay tuned.